topic is subsequent events. So what are subsequent events? Subsequent events are events which occur after the balance sheet date but before financial statements are issued or available to be issued. So here is the definition for the same. Occurs after the balance sheet date but before financial statements are issued or available to be issued. So for issued or available to be issued, for this part we have to understand like what is the meaning of issuer. Issuer is entities which have to issue file their financial statements with SEC. So if an entity has to file their financial statements with SEC, then it is an issuer entity, and in case of issuer, the date the financial statements are issued should be the last date for subsequent events. Like the subsequent events should be recognized up to that date. And what is the meaning of available to be issued? So available to be issued means when the financial statements are prepared in all aspects with as per the GAAP, and all the approvals have been taken. Approvals means that the sign of uh, board of directors and everything is completed, that date is considered as available to be issued. So moving on, there are two types of subsequent events. One would be recognized subsequent event and other is non-recognized subsequent events. So we'll discuss these two events in our next slide. Recognized subsequent events. So recognized subsequent events are events which already existed on the balance sheet date, but after the balance sheet date you got some additional information for the same. So let's look into the definition. Events that provide additional information on the conditions that already existed on the balance sheet date. So for example, let's say you had a customer for which you had made 50% allowance for doubtful debts, and then after the year end you came to know that the customer has filed for bankruptcy. So in that case you'll have to change the estimate which you already had made for that customer. So this is recognized subsequent events. Another example for the same would be litigation that existed on year one, but final decision came after year end, but before the issue of financial statements. So like after year end the litigation is settled or the court has given its judgment, and you know that how much of amount of liability came you have to pay. So you can precisely book the liability as of year end for that amount. So in the normal language I would say information that was already there, but now we got additional information to estimate the same more reliably. This was recognized subsequent events. Now what are non-recognized subsequent events? Non-recognized subsequent events are simply events that did not exist on the balance sheet date and occurred only after that. So you had no clue about these events before the balance sheet date, and it occurred only after the balance sheet date. So this could be like a fire breakout in the factory or an earthquake. So this is the example. So these events should be like fire broke out in the factory on the 3rd January of next year. Okay, what is the meaning of issued or available to be issued? As already discussed, so evaluation period ends after this date. No information either recognized or non-recognized should be included in FS. So when the financials are issued or available to be issued, no evaluation of subsequent events should be made after this date. For issuers, when entity files financial statements with SEC, it is called date, meaning of like it is called issued date. And for other entities, when they are completed as per GAAP and all approvals for issuance are obtained, so this is called available to be issued date. One point to note is, even if FS are reissued or revised later on, no events after the original issue date should be recognized in the financial events. So that means in normal language I would say the original date of issue would always be the date of issue even if they are reissued. So even if, like, let's say you had issued financial statements on 31st March, but in April or May you had to reissue the financial statements because there were some errors on those, and even if you have reissued those financial statements in June, the date of issue of those statements should be considered for 31st March only. So in that case, no events after 31st this March should be included in the financial statements. So this was it for subsequent events. If you have any questions, please ask those on comment. Thanks for watching. Here are some of my social media handles where you can reach out. Thank you.